All right, today we're diving into a story that shows how a single building can really hold the soul of a city. It's about a home, it's about a community, and it's about a promise that's been dragging on for more than a decade, all told through the eyes of someone who lived it. These are the words of Raju Shinde, and his life is right at the heart of our story today. See, when he says this, he's not just talking about a street address. He's talking about a starting line for a journey that, as you'll see, is still looking for its finish line. You know how every great story has a central character? Well, in this one, it isn't a person, it's a place. Let's start with the Kimji Vishram building in Mumbai, a home that stands for so much more than just bricks and mortar. For Raju and so many others, this place was, well, it was everything, a living, breathing part of who they were. It was the culture that shaped them, the backdrop for literally every childhood memory, and the very foundation of their Mumbai dream. You know, that idea that you could really build a life here. So, what was it actually like to live there? I mean, to really get what's been lost, we have to go back. We have to step inside this incredible little universe. Because the difference between then and now, it's just night and day. Okay, try to picture this. A single room, just 9 by 18 feet. We're talking smaller than a one-car garage. Now imagine filling that tiny space not just with your immediate family, but with aunts, uncles, cousins, the whole extended family, all living and breathing and sharing their lives together. Now, our modern brains, they immediately jump to, wow, that must have been so difficult, so crowded. But that's not the memory here at all. When Raju is asked about it, his answer is so simple and so powerful. He just says, no, we were immersed in it. It wasn't some hardship to escape. It was a life to be lived fully. And this sense of community wasn't just social, it was built in. I mean, the building wasn't just a place to live, it was a place to learn. Get this, it had its own school right inside for grades 1 through 4. The whole neighborhood learned their ABCs together, literally under the same roof. And if the school was inside, well, the street was the real playground. That space was just alive with the sounds of being a kid. You know, the crack of a cricket bat, the clatter of stones in a game of Ligori, the dizzying spin of a top. This was not some quiet indoor childhood. It was lived out loud, in the open, and always together. And that spirit of sharing, it just spilled into every part of life. Festivals weren't private things. They were for the whole community. They'd hang a sheet in the street and project movies onto it. The central courtyard, the choke, would just come alive for holidays. One person's tape recorder was the soundtrack for the entire building, and there were always plates of hot snacks being passed from one family to the next. So that was the world then, a whole universe of sound, celebration, and community. But now, that world is gone. And what's replaced it is a stark, frustrating, and just seemingly endless wait. More than a decade ago, 10, 12 years ago, the residents were promised redevelopment. A new building, a new home. You fast forward to today, and the progress on that new home, it's zero. Nothing. A whole decade has been lost. Just waiting. And the future is just a big question mark. And the promise itself was so simple, and that's what made it so powerful. A developer, Dosti Reality, they told them, we will build a new building, we will give you back your home. For people who had spent their entire lives there, that one sentence, it wasn't just a construction plan, it was a lifeline. Today, that lifeline feels a lot more like a trap. The building, which is now a century old, is falling apart. It's unsafe. And the people who are left are just caught in this total nightmare, a maze of legal papers, red tape, and what feels like complete apathy from the developer. The dream of a new home has just dissolved into paperwork. But this is about so much more than a delayed project. Behind all the legal fights and broken promises, there is a deep, unseen human cost to this endless, endless wait. And here's where it gets truly tragic. For so many of the original older residents, the wait just outlasted them. They held on to this dream of moving into their new home, but they passed away before that could ever happen. And maybe nothing shows the emotional toll better than this right here. Raju remembers the then, his mother always calling out with an open invitation, "Come on over, the roadies are hot." And then he describes the now, a community scattered, asking each other, "Where are we? We have no idea." It's a shift from a shared meal to just a shared sense of being completely lost. So, where does all of this lead? Well, the hardest part about this story is that for Raju Shinde and his neighbors, it doesn't really have an ending yet. It's a life that's still being lived in limbo. But here's the thing. Despite all the frustration, all the loss, his identity is still anchored to that old place. He says his dream is still born from that old chawl, that communal building. Even if the walls are crumbling, the foundation of who he is, that's still there. And so, they're just left with this one haunting question that hangs over their lives every single day. After all this time, will they ever actually hold the key to the home they were promised? And that's really why Raju's story is so much bigger than just one building. It's the story of thousands of people who feel like they helped build the modern city of Mumbai, only to find that there's no longer a secure place in it for them. So, we'll leave you with this question. Think about the place where you grew up. If it just vanished tomorrow, where would you even go to find that part of yourself? For the residents of the Himji Vishram building, that's not a hypothetical question. It's a daily search for a home that now exists only in their memory.